Hello everybody and welcome back to another Odin handheld video. Today I was gonna just show off everything that I have on my Odin and kind of give you an idea of just what you can do with this thing. So let's just get into it. When you first start it on, you'll be prompted to do a setup wizard, and you'll get the option to either run it in, which is essentially phone mode. And if I flipped this, it would just look like a Android phone. Or you can launch it via Android's launcher. And some people like it this way. I don't have this configured really at all because I don't use this launcher. So, but yeah, basically what's on mine is I have all the emulators that I use, my streaming stuff. I'm not the most organized, but the reason I'm not quite so organized here on this screen yet is because I spent quite a bit of time using LaunchBox, which if you don't know what that is, that's a front end. It kind of puts it into a kind of an app mode where it's really easy to access all your games. You know, LaunchBox is it's a pretty expensive front end. I think it's $25 to buy. You can use it for free up to 100 games loaded on, but after that you have to pay for it. So I've loaded up all the games that I have on here. Here's some of my favorites I have on here. A lot of people compile libraries that have just tons and tons of games, but I typically just kind of stay with the games that I enjoy the most. I don't know, it's not like I don't have enough space. This model in particular came with 128 gigs of internal storage. But then you also get an SD card slot, which I ended up throwing a 256 gig SD card in it. So I have a ton of memory too, or storage to be able to put everything that I want on here. And it's probably overkill because I probably won't ever fill it. But yeah, just going through all these and I'm showing you all of what I have on here. The LaunchBox is really nice to get into most of your games, as long as you kind of have to pre-configure the emulators first, but then after you do that, and you tell LaunchBox to use the emulator settings in order to launch that way, it works out just fine. The only ones that seem to have difficulty, or the one that I've noticed that has the most difficulty, is 3DS. It cannot launch into 3DS. It'll just launch into the emulator and then you'll have to load the games in from there. But I still have the 3DS loaded up this way just in case Citra ever comes around to making a LaunchBox work. Which was Citra? There was an emulator that said that they will never have LaunchBox compatibility. It might have been the PS2 one. Yeah, because there was a developer that was going to get rid of, or he wanted to close active development on it and said he was never going to support LaunchBox or something. But anyways, I don't have that many PS2 games or PS1 games. I think a lot of that kind of stuff that I can just get better versions via the Android apps, the stuff that I do play. PS2, these are the titles that I have. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 aren't very impressive. I mean, if you ever watch, if you watch any videos online where they show you the gameplay and showing it running smoothly, they're not showing you, just for example, the tanker scene in Metal Gear Solid 2 when you reach the bottom of the tanker and you run into all of the Marines that are down there, put all those Marines on the screen and actually, you know what? Why don't I just show you? You want to see what I mean? Oh, wait, I forgot. Aether is one of those apps that doesn't work with LaunchBox yet, so, but I'll show you. These are the kind of things you have to watch out for. A lot of videos out there will show you the best areas of the game and say, oh yeah, this game runs great. You just have to use these settings and you're good to go. And that's not always the case. You want to see a game chug. Watch what happens when we put all 100 Marines that are in a single room all on one screen. You already see that it's in the red, starting to get in the red here. Now watch what happens when we start seeing the Marines. Ooh, this thing just absolutely chugs. VRAM disabling, see, and it's just not worth it. And when you run into outdoor scenes with rain effects and stuff like that, you're gonna run into that problem too, and it really makes some of the boss battles just really tough to play through. Same thing with Metal Gear Solid 3. The grassy areas are it's just really tough on it. But yeah, so I showed you LaunchBox with all of the emulators. And then I also have my Steam Link where I can pair up my PC. And the connection on these is actually really, really good. I'm not sure what the Wi-Fi. I don't think these are Wi-Fi 6, but still, it's pretty darn good Wi-Fi. But I'm able to play all these games via remote play, which remote play has gotten a lot better. I used to think that I had decent enough internet to do remote play, and it always would stutter for me. But once you start getting into the newer versions of Wi-Fi with like Wi-Fi 6 and stuff like that, it really smooths out the experience. And then I have my Android apps on here: GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. They all run perfect. They're great. Stardew Valley, Alien Isolation. That one, it's recommended that it's supposed to be on Android. What is it? Android 11? I don't know. This operating system runs on Android 10, but Alien Isolation runs great on this. Yeah, so I have my Android games, and then I guess I did file away some of the junk that I don't use. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Guess I can go back through and go to LaunchBox and show what I haven't shown. My PSP collection. Don't have too many there. These are just the games that I enjoy. Super Nintendo. Like my Donkey Kong and Zelda and Metroid. And what else? Is that about it? Some of the Wii games play really well in this. I mean, I can probably show off something like GoldenEye. Yeah, some of these Wii games play surprisingly well. You're able to put. I think I was able to go ×2, which is 720. The screen resolution on this is 1080, so that's the max you're able to go. When you look for reviews and people are showing you, oh, let's get up to 5x and all that, well, you can't go past the screen's resolution. So as long as it does 1080, you're in good shape. which 720 on this screen doesn't look bad either. So some of the PS2 games, you really got to kind of force it down into the base resolution, and that's not even on by default. I think it's times 1.5 is actually the default resolution, but you can bring it down to base. But it's ugly. It's really, really ugly. I just got to the nightclub level. In some of these emulators, you got to pre-configure more than others. Some of them are pretty good out of the box. I mean, if you know what you're doing, Retro Games Corp, that guy does a really, really good job of showing you how to set up every single emulator. He can show you how to show up or set up just the whole device all by itself. He's got comprehensive guides, and I've used him quite a lot to set up my own devices, because this is not the only handheld that I own. I have a Anbernic RG 351P, the widescreen one, yeah. And then I also have a Retroid Pocket 2, which that received an update not too long ago. This runs really well for a Wii game. And Wii's kind of hit and miss too. I mean, you're gonna have kind of varying performance when it comes to Wii games. I prefer. But one thing I haven't been able to figure out with this game is you can run this in 3 different modes. There's classic controls mode, there's GameCube, and then there's Wiimote with the zapper. I remember it was like an attachment that came with the game, so you can kind of set up your Wiimote like a gun. Ooh, and we're about to put a lot of NPCs on the screen. Well, let's just see what happens. That's a ton of NPCs. But this is what we're here for. This is what we're trying to figure out.
Excuse me. There's a 1 button minimum. Finest Russian quality.
But this is what we're, this is what you're looking for. I mean, you want to be able to see what.
Perhaps you should tell your boss. The real label is a darker shade of blue.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by listening to the dialogue. You want to be able to see where the trouble spots are, and if you can actually play through an entire game. And some of the emulators actually use a shader compilation system, so your first time through playing the game, it's gonna chug a bit more because you're looking for, or you're trying to compile all of the shaders. And once you do that, a lot of them have a setting where you can pre-compile the shaders right off the start, and then you don't have to worry about the chugging. All right. I'm looking for the contact, and I'm looking through her, or for her through a phone while recording, so it's not. No, she's not up there. She'll be by herself. She's not always in the same spot. I've played this game through once or twice, and I remember that they move her around a bit. Sometimes she's over here. That's not her. She's distinctive, but it's hard for me to see what I'm doing through a phone screen. But anyways, yeah, when you put a lot of these assets on a screen and it still does a decent job, then you know you're in good shape. Donkey Kong Country Returns plays so. Doesn't really play any better than the 3DS version does. It's just something that just kind of struggle. But that is pretty much everything I have on this thing after about a month. And I'm kind of adding to my collection as I go. I'm an Apple user, so it kind of stinks that I have to buy all of these apps that I want. And if I'm not going out to actually look online, if nobody has a compatibility guide for a lot of these Android games, I kind of have to find out the hard way if I buy them and then they don't seem to play all that great. But I can confirm that the Grand Theft Auto series plays just fine. When you're playing the Android versions of them, they have graphical settings where if you're familiar with the Apple versions of these apps, they don't have any graphic settings. They kind of just are what they are, but you can actually dial them down if you're experiencing poor performance, but they play just great on their max settings. So that is it. That's kind of to show you what's on my Odin. Let me know if you're excited to get your Odin 2, or if you plan on getting something like this, or maybe you're going to hold off. I know that Ayn plans on launching their next handheld, which is the Loki, and it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be Windows based. I don't know if that guarantees that it's going to be a little bit more powerful, because we're going to be using, I think they're going to be using Intel processors. They might be using AMD as well, but that doesn't always mean that it's more optimized. That the Android operating system with these emulators is actually very well optimized, so it doesn't always mean better performance to actually go Windows, but only time will tell. But I know that I'm going to be holding on to this for quite a while, and I'm going to have to see some crazy performance boosts before I decide to upgrade from this. But let me know what you think, and if you're gonna get one, I want to hear about it. So until the next video, have a good day.